All right, class, I got a little too excited. We got one more video to get to before the one I'm like super psyched on. So let's get to this one. Unfortunately, this one is really sad. It kind of talks about the the treatment of really all the indigenous peoples of Latin America at the hands of the Spanish. So it's kind of interesting because the tales that the Spanish sent back to the Spanish crown, to the Catholic Church, were just how the indigenous people were devil worshippers and savages and all of this stuff. Of course, to be a justification for controlling them and taking their wealth and their land and mistreating them, essentially enslaving them. So really it's the Spaniards who are the savage and the barbarians. Let's see here. So you see some depictions, just physical harm, torture, setting war dogs on the people. So the Spanish construct colonial buildings up top the Aztec temples. Remember that the Zocalo in Mexico City, the big plaza, is right there where the Temple Mayor would have been for the Aztecs, or the remains of it are today. They co-opt the Aztec tributary system and make it a taxation one. The conquistadors become encomenderos, which allows the conquerors to control the native population more so than the Spanish crown or the papacy, the Catholic Church would get to do. In this time period called the Reducción, the Franciscan Church, so this subset of the Catholics, tries to instead keep the indigenous out of that system. And kind of harbor them. If you read deeper into it, the different kind of varieties of Catholic that were present in terms of the different monastic orders had different attitudes about towards the indigenous. So Bartolome de las Casas is a famous advocate for Native Americans. He wrote a short account of the destruction of the Indies. I don't want to read the whole thing out loud to you. Maybe just some highlights here. You can read it yourself when you open up the PowerPoint. So, the Spaniards have waged war on the indigenous, unjust, cruel, bloody, and tyrannical war. Second, they have murdered anyone and everyone who has shown the slightest sign of resistance. This meant that young men and leaders of communities were especially targeted. You see here that he kind of closes by saying that they're treated worse than beasts. So it's ugly. It's a really ugly picture. I don't go through in this video too much of the history, because now you really are getting into something that you would get in a history of Mexico class, and I hope you take one of those. I really do. All right, in the next video we're going to talk about Aztec poetry. That's why I'm excited. Okay, see you there.